Tonight on Cox Forum, we're talking about the gift of life. And in this segment, you're going to meet somebody who indeed did give that gift of life to somebody else. Mary Cousineau is Evan's older sister. We heard about Evan during our first segment. And I want to start out, your mom was talking about the time you guys spent in with Evan. You had to give up your studies at USC for a while to do that. How long did that go on?
I took off the fall semester. I was planning on just going out intermittently throughout the summer and then hoping that he would be home close to the time that I started school. And I went out at the end of June and I told my mom, there's no way I'm going home. I can't leave you guys, I can't leave him. And we thought that it would be fine and I would be able to go to school, but when that time came, he was much sicker with the adenovirus and I decided that I needed to stay with him.
While you were there though, you met somebody.
I did. We stayed at the Ronald McDonald House, which is a great facility for families of sick children. And I would go back there every day to do laundry and to make dinner for my mom and I. And there was a little boy who I always saw wandering around the kitchen and playing. And I found out that his name is Dominik Lawson and he was living without kidneys. And at that point, I just thought, he needs some prayers. And, I'll say hi to them when I see them and never thought that it would lead to anything else.
Now, you said he didn't have any kidneys. What kind of treatment was he going through at the time?
He was receiving hemodialysis. He was born 12 weeks early because his kidneys were not functioning and they removed them shortly after he was born. And his mother donated her kidney to him in April of 2007 and he ended up rejecting 3 weeks later, so they had to remove that kidney. So he was receiving hemodialysis 4 times a week.
So what happened after that?
Well, I didn't get a chance to talk to the Lawsons very much while we were in Minnesota because I was always with Evan and my mom at the hospital. And after we had gotten home, we started talking to them more and I found out that they were looking for a donor still, and I emailed his mom and told her that I would love to be tested and I just wanted to get more information on it. And she said that with everything with my brother, just to take a step back, pray about it a little bit. And they had someone being worked up, so I took her advice and waited, and then when I found out that the other donor had fallen through, I just really felt like this is something I needed to do.
And so talk about what you go through when you're being tested.
Initially, it's just a blood test just to see typing, and from that point you do a lot more. So I got a call a week after I had the blood test done, and they said that I was completely compatible and asked if I would be willing to go forward with more testing, and I said, of course. And from that point, I had a CAT scan done, an X-ray, an EKG, just simple tests to make sure that my body would be fine after the transplant. And then they did a psych consult to make sure that I was mentally in the right place to be doing this. And after that, I was approved.
So during this time, knowing that the Lawsons were hoping for a transplant, what kind of communications did you have with them?
Well, we talked all the time. We had gotten really close after Evan had passed away, but I refused to tell them that I was being worked up. And my mom would say, you have to tell them, they're getting so anxious.
Why? Why didn't you tell them?
Well, they had just gotten their hopes let down so many times, just waiting for news and having things not work out, and I didn't want to do that to them again. I wanted to make sure that everything was set, that it was going to be perfect and on my own terms when I told them.
Okay. So you found out that it's going to work. How did you let them know?
Well, I wanted to be with them, of course, and since I couldn't do that, I wanted to put my own touch on things a little bit. So I went onto CaringBridge, where Kelly had written about the donor all the time, and I went, and every single journal entry that she talked about this unknown donor, I printed it off and I cut it out and I pasted it into a journal. And then after all that, I wrote, I'm the donor. And I included all the different testing workup papers that I had, and I shipped it to them along with a t-shirt for Dominik that said, someone at USC loves me. And I sent that to them, and I just told her, I just have some pictures I'm sending you guys. Like, how about you call me on the webcam when you get it so I can look at them with you?
And you saw the reaction?
Yep.
Must have been pretty amazing. So talk about the actual transplant. What did you go through there?
Well, I had to get there a couple days ahead of time, and the day before I had a full workup. Just once again, they wanted to make sure that I was really, Minnesota's first concern was that the donor would be fine. They did not want to jeopardize my health at all, so they did a bunch of health testings, and then the next day I had to get there at 5:30 in the morning, and I mean, it was so easy. I was not nervous at all, and they wheeled me in, and 5 hours later they took me out and told me everything went perfect, and I was in the hospital for 4 days after that, and then just recovering over the last 8 weeks.
Gina, talk about the importance of the pink dot.
Yes, well, we didn't know that it would lead to this, but when we talked about cord blood and bone marrow donation and blood product, I always talked about that pink dot on my driver's license and how I had it since the day I got my driver's license and knew personally the importance of it. And of course, when we learned about Dominik and the fact that, he needed a donor and that they couldn't find one on the transplant list from people being part of Donate Life California or Donate Life in general across the nation, they have to go to look for live donors. So to me, the more people we can get involved, if you can get that pink dot on your driver's license, if you can understand ahead of time that you, through your tragedy, can save dozens of lives through organ and tissue donation, then when you get that call, you're able to say, absolutely, we want to save lives. When people aren't aware of that and they get that call, they can't make that determination. It's too much on their bodies. So we are out there now to educate people. This is why you want to do it. And today, I think I mentioned to you earlier that I went on the site and I found out that you can sign up to be part of Donate Live at 13 years old, which is so thrilling that young people can learn that they can make a difference. You can live and then you can give.
When you sign up for Donate Life, what at that point are you obligating yourself to do?
Yeah, well, it's super easy. DonateLifeCalifornia.org. Takes 2 minutes. You absolutely can specify whether or not you would want your body to be donated for research. If you are only donating organs, if you're donating organs and tissues, you can be absolutely specific as to your desires. And a lot of times people say, well, I don't want to donate my eyes. And I said, you know what? I've met a young lady who had 3 beautiful girls, had 2 donors who donated a sclera and a cornea, and who see those little girls because of donors. So we need to remind people it's not just about the organs, the livers and the kidneys and the pancreases, but skin helps people, burn victims, tendons and ligaments help people to be able to use their bodies, and eyes, so important.
Thank you both for being with us, and thanks for the amazing things that you've been doing. When we come back, we're going to hear about the National Marrow Donation Program and how you can participate in that. Please don't go away.